Hello everybody, Ole Gamer Joe back here with yet another Media Moogle review, and today we are taking a look at a game that I very sadly missed out on way back in 2016 called Ara Fell, but it has come out again here with an enhanced edition on the PlayStation 4, the Switch, Steam, and the Xbox One as well, so plenty of different places to now experience this 16-bit inspired JRPG. I played it on the PlayStation 4, and so for fans of the original release, what does the enhanced edition add? Well, quite a few things actually. For one, the game's original battle system has been retooled and shaped to be more optimal in this version of the game. There are a bunch of new skills, side quests, and an overhauled UI to make it far more appealing. Some better crafting, and even a few new systems have been implemented, so this was no cash grab or cash in, you could say, because they really did put a lot of effort into making Ara Fell a much better game. So if you're in the same boat as me and you didn't play the original release, the main storyline evolves around a young teenage girl who loves to explore named Lita and her friend Adrian. One day Lita's thirst for exploration goes a little too far. She ends up in some ruins that she probably doesn't belong in, eventually stumbling across a ring that will totally change and shape her destiny going forward, and sets up the main story arc, which involves a war between vampires and elves. It really sounds silly, nerdy, and fantasy-like, and it is, and I absolutely love that aspect because it really embraces what a JRPG is all about in terms of story. Lita herself is a wonderfully likable character full of youth and wisdom, despite the fact that she is still a little young and naive, and the writers really do a great job of bringing her to life, and the cast around her too. You will eventually end up forming a party of 4 in this game, all with unique characteristics to them and personality traits that I really enjoyed quite a bit. That again is a credit to the writing, which is fantastic across the board. I was ultimately impressed, being a longtime fan of JRPGs, how few errors there were in the script, and just how well written the whole package was. Outside of its wonderful cast of characters, Ara Fell also pays tribute to 16-bit JRPGs in terms of its battle system, which is turn-based, and that certainly excites me, though it might get a few groans out of other people that are not fans of classic RPGs like this. But being a child of the 90s and growing up on this genre, I was absolutely in love with the combat in this game. Every party member has their own unique ability sets. You of course have a magic user who's more specialized in lightning, fire, that kind of deal, while Lita herself relies on her bow and her archery skills in order to get through combat. She has a really cool ability that reminded me of Terra from Final Fantasy VI when she would enter trance mode that can make her a lot more powerful. I use this often because it would lead to more devastating blows. It is a little bit unfortunate that it takes so long to get to the 4-party member limit in this game, but once you do, you will really find yourself exploring different strategies, different spells, and different combinations to take down your foes, and some really fun boss fights as well. Ara Fell does offer a little bit more exploration than your typical JRPG would have in the 90s, but that's not a bad thing. In fact, usually your goal is still pretty obvious, but I did like that you could kind of go off and do little side quests that pop up, help villagers around town, etc. Most of these quests feel like they have real weight and meaning behind them, and they don't come off as just simple fetch quests. Well, maybe some of them do, but to be fair, they're worth doing anyways because they give you a great deal of experience, which makes you stronger. And because the world of Ara Fell is so beautiful to explore and full of wonder and secrets, I was never tired of doing these quests, and that's saying something for me because I'm usually not a fan of side quests in games, but I was absolutely enthralled with the world that was put on display before me, so I was glad to continue doing them. Exploration in Ara Fell also comes in handy in terms of needing to grind out ore and different materials to build new weapons for yourself in this game. You can also craft healing potions and other things that will help you along your quest. I'm not usually a big fan of crafting, and personally, as this game is already leaning so deeply into the 16-bit era style JRPG, call me old school, but I would have preferred just going up to a weaponsmith's shop and buying the latest armor in each of the new areas. Crafting is presented in a way that is so simple, it really didn't bother me too much, and I always felt like I was getting stronger in Ara Fell, which I can definitely appreciate, and is something that all JRPG fans love, the feeling of being more powerful as you progress through your journey. In terms of graphics, Ara Fell is an absolute stunning masterpiece of 16-bit sprite-based artwork. It looks just out of that era in every way. I was constantly awestruck, and I'm such a fan of the 16-bit JRPG art style. This is the first game in a long time that I can recall really nailing it on the head. Ara Fell is chock full of personality and just brimming with beauty and majesty. It's a fantastic title to look at. Graphically, it is by far one of my favorite looking titles in quite a long time. And yet, for as wonderful as the world of Ara Fell is to gaze upon, it's the soundtrack that steals the show. It is one of the greatest soundtracks, no lie, that I have heard in the last decade in a video game. These songs are beautiful, and they stir you with emotion and nostalgia that you probably didn't even know you still had within you if you were a child of the 90s. In moments of levity, it made you smile. In moments of sadness, it just pulled at your heartstrings. This soundtrack is fantastic and cannot be missed by fans of JRPGs. In fact, Ara Fell is a game that cannot be missed by fans of this genre. It is a fantastic recreation of the 16-bit era JRPG. I think snooty critics that are used to modern-day conventions in their games will likely scoff at how true to itself Ara Fell is. However, there's one thing that nobody out there will be able to deny, and that would be the size of its heart. For more on Ara Fell Enhanced Edition and all of our other content, head on over to MediaMoogle.net. And if you have enjoyed our video content today, please do hit the subscribe button below. It helps us greatly. Thank you so much for watching.